What's up, Blade fam? It's Josh Acosta again from Acosta Blades. Now we're going to talk about today is something that should be on everybody's mind: recovery. Recovery helps us skate tomorrow what we can do today. So for me, that's huge because I really want to skate tomorrow, but I don't want to be all sore and broke off. So let's talk about different things that can help us recover so that way we can skate tomorrow. Our first topic that we're going to cover is going to be foam rolling. Now foam rolling helps us recover after we've damaged our muscles. And so let's just go over a quick overview of what happens when we train our muscles or while we're skating. We stretch and contract these muscle fibers continually. And what happens over time is we begin to strain and build up little lactic acid pockets in between those fibers. They then heal and become what we call trigger points, which are like little knots in between the muscle fibers. Now these knots work a lot like a Chinese finger trap. The more you pull them, the tighter those knots are going to get. And so in order to release a Chinese finger trap, you have to apply a certain amount of pressure to the middle of the trap, and then it releases. In the same way, a foam roller works like that. So if you have a knot along the side of your muscle and you're stretching and you're pulling and all it is making it worse, foam rolling is probably what you want to do. So by applying pressure onto that knot before stretching, you release that lactic acid buildup, which we call a trigger point, and from there stretching will help rehabilitate that. Okay, so real quick, let's talk about foam rollers. There's a lot on the market, and what I've come to find out through experience is they definitely are different. You've got foam rollers that are super soft and super hard and dense. You've got foam rollers that are ridged like such. These ridges work in a way that they get inside of the muscles, helping you release those trigger points a little more effectively. I think this roller here cost around $100 US, and this one here was about $45. Big difference in price, but also big difference in effectiveness. So let's go ahead and cover what we're gonna do with these things. All right, so now what do we do with this foam roller? We have 10 exercises that we can perform that will help us recover, rehabilitate, and get back on those blades as soon as possible. The first one that we're gonna start with is gonna be the calves. Again, we destroy our calves so much. If you experience knee pain, it could be because your calf muscles are tight. You know, if you have this muscle right here and it's pulling because it's got this knot right there from jumping, it's gonna put stress on this joint, this knee. So what I found when I started experiencing knee pain, I just wanted to research, how can I stop this pain other than taking pain medicines or getting drunk or anything like that? What can I do? What actions can I take to rehab this pain? And that's how I came across foam rolling. So with the calves, what you're trying to do is you're gonna start at the base of your leg here, bottom of the ankles, and you're gonna just roll slowly up. Now, what you're looking for are little pockets that feel tender. They kind of feel like little marbles underneath the muscle, underneath the skin or in the muscles. And as you find them, like I got one right here. Now, as soon as you find it, what a lot of people want to do is just roll back and forth like this. This does help, but what you really need to do, again, like the finger Chinese trap, is apply constant pressure on that muscle. So say I found one here. Now I'm gonna hang out for about 30 seconds to 1 minute and wait for it to release. If this isn't enough pressure, you can cross your leg over like this and work it until you find that knot, and then again hold for 30 seconds to 1 minute. What it feels like when a muscle releases that trigger point is crazy. It all of a sudden begins to vibrate and shake, and then it's gone. So if you get that, awesome. Don't freak out and let go of it too soon. It's about to do its thing. So again, you're gonna find those trigger points, those little knots, and hold for 30 seconds to 1 minute per side, and give that a shot. Okay, so now that we've released our calves, we can move up towards our hamstrings. Now, from my experience, foam rollers don't really work as well as some other exercises for hamstring release of tension in the muscles, but this one, this shape, this style does. And what you're going to want to do is get up on one leg like such, and you're just going to roll back and forth again like the calves, trying to find any tight areas or tender areas and just hang out on them. You can apply pressure, apply weight, you can come up and off, work all the way up. Sometimes when you fall on coping, we all know this, you miss an alley-oop topside and you case your ass right on the edge of the quarter and you catch a knot. This will hurt like hell, but if you find where you sat on the coping, you'll find those little knots and you can apply pressure to those, helping relieve and get some blood flow in there. Okay, now moving up, we got the calves, we got the hams, and we are now focusing on the piriformis and the gluteus maximus. These muscles are a little more tender, so I don't like to use this rumbler on those. I've come to find that for those muscles, a softer, medium density works best. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna sit on the foam roller as such. We're gonna take whatever side is causing us pain. We're gonna bring this foot up, go into a figure 4. This already is applying stretching to this piriformis. You're then gonna rotate to the side onto it, and you're gonna rock back and forth, finding that tender area. As soon as you find it, you can again hold. When you're holding these knots, what I like to practice is breathing in and out to them. And what I like to do is kind of like a visualization. I'm breathing in healing energy to this part of my body, and as I'm breathing out, I'm letting go of all of the tension in my body, all of the lactic acid, all of the things, the junk that I don't want. I'm breathing that out. Now that could even be just stress in life. You know, you're breathing in and breathing out that stress. Breathing in, seeing that good stuff, breathing out all that bad stuff. And the body reacts to this, you know, it's aware of your thoughts. It holds tension and it releases tensions based off of what you're thinking. And so while holding these points, you can practice this. And again, you're just breathing in and out, finding that and releasing the piriformis. You can also move down. We're kind of in the same position for the glutes, and you can just rock back and forth on those. I've kind of had a hard time finding, I guess, ways to release the glutes, but this works, kinda. I find stretching works best. I don't really get knots in my ass. All right, continuing moving up, we are gonna focus on the back. Now the lower back is a little more tricky to foam roll, so I won't be covering that today. What we're gonna be focusing on is the thoracic spine and the upper back area. The thoracic spine begins about 6 to 8 inches from your tailbone to about here, that mid back. We all know, skating, your thoracic spine gets jacked. So you're gonna lay back, you're gonna make sure your chin stays in alignment with your spine. You're just gonna roll back. You may get some cracking and popping. That's okay. It's just helping put your spine back in alignment. And you're just gonna rock back and forth. Again, if you find any point that is extremely tight or tender, you're gonna focus on that. You can hang out like this all day, opening up the chest. What you don't want to do is dump the butt. Now, if you lower your butt down and round out, that's dangerous for your lower back. So you want to be very cautious of doing stuff like that. But keeping that tension and keeping your spine straight as possible will help you stay in a safe way of doing this. Okay, so the next muscle that we're going to go and work on is going to be the IT band. Now, when you look at the posture of rollerblading, every stride comes from the piriformis, the glute, and your IT band. These are your rollerblading muscles, and we tend to get extremely tight here. I find for myself that foam rolling has been the biggest help with releasing that. What you're gonna do is lay the foam roller down, you're gonna apply pressure to the side. Beginning at the top of the hip, you're gonna go into a figure 4, and you're gonna just pull slowly down. And as soon as you find the most tender area between the quad and the hamstring, the IT band runs from here to here. Once you find that, you can apply pressure. You can come down as this and just hold. Rocking maybe 1 inch to 1/2 inch. Finding those tender areas. and then holding them and allowing them to release. All right, now moving to the front side of the body, our shins. We sometimes get some shin splits. If you experience ankle pain, it could be because these muscles running through here are so tight from flexing that they're pulling your ankles, you know? This muscle runs down from your knee to your ankles and your feet, and we get tension through here and we never think of how to release them. So foam rolling really helps. And all you're gonna do is, I like to go one leg at a time. You're gonna begin right above your foot and you're gonna slowly go through that shin. Making sure you hit both sides. Oh, I actually got a knot on this shin. Missed a switch alley top acid and just cased it. So I'm not gonna do that side, but that's the general idea. Okay, so last but not least, we're gonna move on to the quads. Now remember at the beginning of this, I told you the density of your muscle structure depends on the density of foam roller you're gonna use. This soft guy doesn't do anything. Definitely wanna get on this kind of thick graded foam. So what we're gonna do with the quads is we're gonna lay down and get, first, before we hit the quads, we're gonna hit these hip flexors here. Now if you've got a pelvic tilt or chronic back pain, it's because these muscles here are so tight from us jumping that it pulls our pelvis down and forward, and we get this popped butt situation, which just continues this movement in rollerblading. We're trying to smooth out, stand up, get up, find your balance. Well, it might be really hard if your hip flexors are totally out of whack and tight as hell. So what we're gonna do to release those is we're gonna take the foam roller to the side. We're gonna pin it into this area here. And really, as soon as you apply pressure to that, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Get on that hip flexor and just hang out. 30 seconds, a minute. Again, practicing that breathing that we were talking about earlier. Breathing in, healing energy, letting go of toxicity and tension. Both sides, 30 seconds to a minute, and we'll move on to the quads. Moving on to the quads, we're gonna place the foam roller directly in front of us, getting both legs on there. Now we're below the hip flexors, actually on the quads, and we're gonna just rock slowly forward, finding any tension. Once you find that, hold, continue down, hold. If this isn't enough pressure for you, what you can do is, again, move this over so you got one leg down on the ground, one leg on the foam roller, and you can really put more weight coming up and pressing those muscles into the foam roller, finding that point, holding until you feel release. Okay, so that really sums up my foam rolling exercises that I practice. I try to do this 3 days a week. 3 days a week after skating, especially if I put it in. You know, if I know I come home, I'm a little cranky, I'm tight, I'm just hurting all over the place, first thing I want to do is hydrate. Drinking some really good quality water. You know, if you have access to pH water, dude, that's where it's really at. It helps you alkaline, get rid of that. Lemon water can help with just alkalinizing your body after all of that skating and helping flush that lactic acid out. After you're done doing that, get on a foam roller. Spend, you know, a little time, put on some good tunes, just relax, be outdoors, be inside, it doesn't matter. If you don't have access to a foam roller, my old man is all about hacking stuff. You know, he is not gonna go and spend $100 on something that he can make. And so what my dad did was he took a PVC pipe, he cut it in half, and he wrapped a foam yoga mat around it with some duct tape. Does the exact same thing. So you could try that out. If you don't have access to a foam roller, you can even just try the straight up PVC pipe. Some foam rollers have that, where it's just a tube of PVC with foam wrapped around it, and they sell it to us for 50, 60 bucks. You can try that out. When you're done foam rolling, make sure you drink a good 16 to 24 ounces of water, because you've just released all this acidness in your body. That again will help you recover more. yeah, stay tuned. After this, I'll show you guys a stretching video. So again, foam rolling is releasing knots and trigger points. Following that with stretching will help your recovery straight up. So I'll continue making videos on recovery for this series, and we'll take it from there. Till then, you guys have a great day. Aloha.